Yellow, it is N60 Sean. It is time for our N70K title match. Henry Horseman taking on Danisnotonfire. So Dan, he won the N60K title in our first sort of subscriber celebration match, overcoming 5 other characters in a ladder match to be our first ever N60K title. That championship is now going to evolve like a Bulbasaur into an Ivysaur. And it will become the N70K title. Who is going to be the holder of our N70K title? Is it going to be Henry Horseman, who is set quite a few championship matches, but he's yet to hold actual championship gold in our series? Here is Danisnotonfire with the N60K championship around his waist, a title which is going to become the N70K title at the end of this match. But is Danisnotonfire going to be the guy who holds it, or is it going to be going around the waist of a horse? Who knows? Also as well, earlier as well in the evening, as Craner on the lookout for a partner to try and take down Terror887, who had brainwashed his best friend Sunday. He approached Captain Sparkles, offered him a chance at a partnership, but Captain Sparkles turned Craner down. Because I just think Captain Sparkles is seeing what happens to people who go up against Terror887, like Dan TDM, Dr. Trayoras, both sidelined by our tag team champions, and I think Captain Sparkles wanted nothing of it. There is our N70K championship. It was suggested on Twitter that it should have more like a sort of a ruby feel to it, so that was a good idea. So we've got a ruby encrusted championship as Billy Bob Webster holds that title aloft. This match has got no disqualifications, falls count anywhere for this one, so who knows where it's going to end up. It's Henry Horseman and Danisnotonfire get ready to face off, but Henry Horseman runs essentially straight into a flying clothesline from Dan. Dan he was our first ever N60 champion. He's no stranger to title gold, as he is just booting a horse in the ribs here, and Henry Horseman on the receiving end of some punishment early on, slumped into the corner. Danisnotonfire uses momentum there in the body splash to take down Henry Horseman. Things we see with Danisnotonfire, he likes to go for high-flying offense. It doesn't always pay off, which is kind of true for both of these competitors. We've seen Henry Horseman come up short because he's gone for high-flying offense, and it's just completely bamboozled him. He's been flying off the top rope intercepting high punches in the past. Both of these guys, probably, if it was me, should be staying on the ground and maybe concentrating on the sort of offense that Henry Horseman is delivering here with those right hands. Off the second rope, Tornado DDT, planting Danisnotonfire in our second title match of Season 6. Thank you also to everybody. Oh wait, hang on, cover here. Referee Billy Bob Webster took a little bit of a while to get into position there, and Dan kicks out before the count of 1. The Heroes and YouTubers tag team match will be starting on Monday. That will be our next contest. Thank you to everyone. Record amounts of people have got involved here. And wait, Henry Horseman flying up to the top rope. And we've got a flying horse on our hands with a frog splash. Horses delivering frog splash. Wait, whoa, Henry Horseman's got a sledgehammer. No horsing around from Henry Horseman, as he's now bringing the heavy weaponry into this contest. And Danisnotonfire sending Henry Horseman into the corner of the ringside area. Remember, full scout anyway here. This could go all over the building, all over the N60 arena. And Henry Horseman delivering some sass to Danisnotonfire, who jumps the barricade and delivers a stiff right hand to the chops of Henry Horseman as this fight is breaking out into the audience. And I think you've got to give the advantage to Danisnotonfire here, who is just absolutely slapping about Henry Horseman as we go into, well, they've just walked through a fence there. Just walked through a fence to get an overhead belly kick from Henry Horseman, taking down Danisnotonfire. Nice athleticism from the horse, and they're on the concrete here. There's no padding. Moves are going to do more damage than they normally would in the ring, and this does not look good for Dan, as he is planted with a powerbomb onto the concrete staging. And now Henry Horseman clambering onto the side of the stage. Are we going to see another instance of a flying horse here as he flies off the stage with an elbow into the face of Danisnotonfire? And Dan in a lot of trouble in this stage of the match. Henry Horseman now, again with the athleticism. Hurricane Rana sending Dan once again sprawling to the concrete. Goes for a cover here. Where's referee Billy Bob Webster? What are you doing, mate? Be in this position already. Billy Bob Webster taking about a million years. And now where's he going? Climbing back on the stage. Referee Billy Bob Webster, you need to be down there. And where's he going? And he's running away again. Upsetting refereeing from referee Billy Bob Webster is now Dan, who's now managed to gain another bit of an advantage. after that slow count, clambers up on stage. And where is Dan heading? Maybe Dan has had enough of Henry Horseman, trying to get as much space between him and this horse as possible. And this one looks to be going into the backstage area. Henry Horseman with those evil eyes. And now we're in the backstage area. I told you this one could go anywhere. Falls count anywhere. And a flying head scissors to Henry Horseman in the backstage area. N70K title on the line here for our 70,000 subscriber special. And Henry Horseman takes a trash can to the face. And Dan's sending him into the corridor, sprawling onto the hard floor. And now Dan sizing up Henry Horseman for some sort of move here. What is he looking for? But runs straight into the clutches of Henry Horseman, who sends him sprawling to the floor. And now Henry Horseman looking to repay the favour with a trash can shot of his own, straight to the spine of Dan, and now just kicking him in. And we said these two, not usually known for their brutality, but when there's title gold on the line, then Henry Horseman pulling out all the stops. He's got an IKEA piece of furniture. That little shelving, what is on those shelves? What would you keep on those shelves in a backstage area? But it is being used very much to inflict as much damage on Dan as he possibly can. And remember, the pinfall could take place in the backstage area. And hoof straight to the face of Dan. And now using his head to open that door. And now we're in the locker room area. And Henry Horseman has got a solid steel chair. And went to go and hit Danisnotonfire with it. But Dan manages to roll out of the way. Wrestles the chair from Henry Horseman's grasp. Henry Horseman maybe not with the hooves dexterity to keep hold of that chair as tightly as he could, and now he takes a steel chair straight to the muzzle, and another chair shot straight to the head of Henry Horseman. And bye-bye brain cells if you are Henry Horseman, because Danisnotonfire is going to work with that steel chair in the backstage area. Henry Horseman sent flying into that table, and oh mate, Danisnotonfire has got Henry Horseman by the throat. Could we see a choke slam here? Choke slam through a table. Dan is going for the cover. Where's Billy Bob Webster again? Why are you not in this room? Billy Bob Webster running for the corridor. Did you just like pop to the toilet or something? Where were you, mate? Getting a snack, having a nap, be in this room to make the count. And again, both of these guys could be our N70K champion if Billy Bob Webster was a little bit better at his job. Dan now taking Henry Horseman back into the gorilla position here. And another shot. Henry Horseman reversing it and takes Dan down with a stiff clothesline. What is Henry Horseman here? Well, Henry Horseman's got the flat screen plasma. 32 inches of pain and destruction could be coming to Dan in any minute. And oh, mate, Henry Horseman is smashing up Danisnotonfire with a television set. And that TV, HD ready. Maybe a bit of 4K in there as well. The corner of that straight under the chin of Danisnotonfire. And both of these guys doing whatever it takes to try and become the N70K champion ahead of our Heroes and YouTubers tournament, which is going to be coming up in the next video. Henry Horseman, look at those eyes, man. Henry Horseman, he's got an evil look in his eye in this one as they go back onto the stage now. Is this one going to actually finish in the ring as Dan and Henry Horseman are battling up on the stage? Dan gets reversed, thrown down to the stage, trips and falls. Probably just a classic Danisnotonfire stumble there. Henry Horseman dropping the elbow on the stage. Remember, these moves are going to be doing more damage when you're not in the nice, lovely, comfy, padded ring. And now we're back at ringside. Referee Billy Bob Webster looks to be in a position where he might actually make a pinfall here. Dan now thrown back into the ring. We've got around the houses on this one, and Henry Horseman could be looking for the phenomenal forehoof. If he hits this, this could be over for Dan. Hoof to the face. Shades of Markiplier sending Dan down. And now I might be looking for that mule kick. Tuning up the band. It's not quite as glorious as the glorious kick, but if he hits this, this could be over. Mule kick to the face of Dan. But Stampy is here. Stampy believes that he should be in this match. In the qualifier, Stampy had the pin at the same time as Henry Horseman. But unfortunately, referee Billy Bob Webster carried the fall for Henry Horseman, and now Stampy is attacking Henry Horseman. Stampy believing that maybe he should be the first ever N70K champion, sending Henry Horseman into the ring post. What is up with Stampy? This isn't the usual lovely Stampy that we're used to. Maybe he's just not had enough lovely cake. Maybe he's just a bit hangry. But Stampy looks to have cost Henry Horseman the N70K title Dan sending Henry Horseman into the corner. Could be setting him up for the Pepsi plunge here. If Dan hits this, this is how he's won all of his titles in the past. Well, apart from that ladder match. But it was how he won the first ever N60K, the N60 Championship. Henry Horseman in a lot of trouble. Pepsi plunge from the top rope. And I think Dan is retaining his 60k, turning it into 70k. That's 2. And Henry Horseman just managing to kick out at 2. Dan looks confused. I'm confused. That move usually is enough to put anybody away. Dan with the float over neck whip. What can Dan do to finish off Henry Horseman here? We've said this before. Is this wise from Dan? Going up top. Could be looking for a high offense, high risk move here. But Henry Horseman's up. Mule kick in midair. Taking out Danisnotonfire. Where did Henry Horseman find that? Henry Horseman with the cover. That's 1, 2, and that is 3. Henry Horseman is the N70K champion. What a win for Henry Horseman. Wait, who on earth is this? Someone is attacking both Henry Horseman and Danisnotonfire. I don't know, what is that? That looks like a Vanos symbol. Is this one of our heroes, which is going to be making his debut in our heroes and YouTubers match? Is that Vanos' partner? Who on earth was that reptilian lizard looking dude? Make sure you join us on Monday for the start of our Season 6 tournament. Thank you to everyone, all 70,000 of you, I think it's like 72 now, who have watched the videos up until now. You are all excellent. I've been N60 Sean. See you for the next video.